Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Timely Action Hour. This is the show where we talk about everything from comic books to movies and everything in between. My name is Aidan, and I hope that you're doing well today. In this video, I'm going to be doing a review of Hulk Grey. This is a 6-issue miniseries published by Marvel Comics between November 2003 and April 2004, written by Jeff Loeb and illustrated by the late great Tim Sale. I bought this at Toronto Fan Expo for $25, and it is a bit pricey, but you know, all 6 issues in relatively good condition. In issue 5, there is a page that was not either bound properly or came loose, but it's still in the set. But you know, otherwise it's in good condition. And this is not the first story I've done with this creative team. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale have worked together on a lot of books, 2 of which I have reviewed already: Batman The Long Halloween and its sequel, Dark Victory. Those were 2 videos I did very early on in my career, so I don't really recommend watching them. But I will leave those 2 videos linked, so if you do want to see what it was like in the beginning of my YouTube career, and also just my thoughts on those books. But Hulk Grey is part of the Marvel Knights imprint, which means that more mature stories can be told, and this does tackle mature themes, so trigger warning. This retells the origin story of the Hulk in the sense that it's framed as Bruce Banner talking to Dr. Leonard Samson, his friend and therapist, about how he became the Hulk and what was his thought process during the first few days of him as the Hulk when he was still gray. Check out my review of The Incredible Hulk #1. But it also has his, spoiler alert for this entire series, but it also has his first meeting with Iron Man and his thought process about that. And it's a very grounded and very emotional story. I actually shed some tears when reading this because it was so beautiful. Not just the artwork, but the story itself it moved me, because I've always been touched by the Hulk in the sense that I've related to his anger issues, and you know, I have a good father, but you know, since he and my mother split up when I was very young, it was always, you know, going back and forth between their homes. So that sort of put a strain on our relationship, but we're in a better place now. Thankfully, my father never beat me like Bruce's father did, but I somewhat relate to him in that regard. But the anger issues is always what I've gelled with. But let me just crack open this, because like I said, I think the art is gorgeous. Here's part of issue 2.
A gray Hulk?
We see Hulk, Bruce Banner dealing with, you know, turning back into himself after his first night as the Hulk. And here's the advertisement for the DVD of the 2003 film. But and that's a great movie, very underrated. But essentially the story is Bruce framing his first couple of transformations into the Hulk as this catharsis, in the sense that when he's in his human form, he's weak, he feels powerless, he's dealing with the trauma of his abusive father, and he's, you know, dealing with the trauma of being caught in the gamma bomb explosion when trying to save Rick. He's dealing with the fact that the woman he loves is the daughter of the man who's hounding him, and all of these external forces are pushing him down until he finally explodes into rage and becomes this beast. But the Hulk is not actually a beast. in those early comics, the Hulk was coherent, but this retcons, this is a separate standalone story that's not really tied to continuity, but it just retells Hulk's origin story. But in this version, Hulk could not speak coherently at first, but he's more like the Green Hulk after the original 6 issues and the original Avengers issues. Also check out my review of the Avengers #1. But Hulk is more childlike. He's the repressed trauma that Bruce keeps inside brought to the light. And he speaks like, Hulk sad, Hulk sorry he hurt Betty, and stuff like that. And it's very interesting to see the dichotomy between the two. And I think that issue 4, is very interesting because we see Hulk fighting Iron Man because General Ross calls Tony Stark to help figure out what to do about the Hulk. And at this point, Iron Man still has a secret identity, but he says, I've got a new tool that can help you, General. Let me just call my guy. And then he puts on his Iron Man armor, and it's the Model 1 version too. So it's the Mark 1, but the gold version before he goes into the more classic look. But he is beaten to a pulp by Hulk, and he thinks he's trying to rescue Betty from him. But as we know, Hulk loves Betty because he's actually Bruce. Iron Man and Hulk have this epic fight, and it's contrasted by this one horrifying moment when Bruce becomes his father, when he accidentally hits Betty during the fight. And it is just a visceral feeling to see that printed on the page in these beautiful colors, but it is just a very horrifying experience to see. And overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being horrible and 10 being fantastic, I would have to give this a 10 out of 10. This is one of the most beautiful, haunting, sad, and melancholic comic books I've ever read. It's one of the few comics that I've actually shed a tear to, and it's really definitely one of the biggest recommendations I can give you. But bring a box of tissues with you when you're about to read it. But yeah, Hulk Gray by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, 10 out of 10, definitely recommend. It was well worth the price, even though it is a bit more expensive than I would like to spend on comics. But, with the state of the world and the economic situation that we find ourselves in, not to get too political, but, it's insane. But thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I sincerely appreciate it, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, then please click the like button and subscribe if you're new to my show, and ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. Share this with your friends if they're interested in this sort of content. Hype this if you're on your cell phone. Leave a comment telling me what your favorite moment in this story was, or if you'd like to recommend a story that I review in the future, or what's your favorite Hulk story in general. And also, in the description of this video, you'll find the links to my podcast, so please check that out. And you'll also find the links to my social media profiles, as well as my Patreon page and merch store. So if you'd like to support this show financially, I would greatly appreciate that. But have a wonderful day. God bless you. And if you are struggling with mental health, please seek the help of a trained doctor, and you are not alone. You have friends, you have family, but if you don't, please seek help. Bye.